There is no feeling quite like a championship Sunday feeling, and that is exactly where we find ourselves this afternoon. For the third time in 2023, we will crown a winner. It is the second edition of the MEDIHEAL HANKOOKILBO Championship live from the Payram Club. 9 holes to see if we will have a repeat from Park Ji-young, a first-time winner in Kim Min-bi, or if a familiar face will once again take to the top step of the podium here on the LPGA Tour of Korea. Looking through the groups, we see Park Min-ji, Park Young-young, and Park Ji-young teeing off in the final pairing, or the final trio, to take to the course today. 10:20 a.m. local time, they teed off. They are through 9 holes and gearing up for the home stretch here in Yeoju-si. Lee Joo-mi, for much of the weekend, she has been hanging around, trying to pounce. She would finish with a 73 yesterday, 1 over par, missing a putt for birdie. She is 2 back of our leader. $1 billion up for grabs this week. Not to mention the bragging rights and the opportunity to defend a crown for Park Ji-young, though she is stuttering through the first 9 holes and needs to get things back on track quickly. Kim Min-bi, back-to-back rounds of 72 after opening the tournament 8 under. She gets her 3rd birdie of the day to move to 2 under on this Sunday. She is just 1 back of Park Young-young in the lead. Just enough on 11 for Lee Ga-young. She has been playing some of the most consistent golf out of anyone. And the 120 players that took to this tournament to 69, 3 under par in the opener. 1 under on Friday, 2 under yesterday, surviving the rain-soaked Saturday that was supposed to be your run-of-the-mill moving day and ended up being anything but. To the fairway we go at 10. The extreme left side of it, and an approach, hoping to climb all the way up to the back step. This will get nearly hole high with about 10 feet between Park Min-ji and a birdie. 1 under through 9 holes of play, out with a 35, 1 back of the lead, one of 3 players trying to chase down the lead. Kim Ji-soo, that was for par. Starting to lose a step and fall back. Her best round of the week thus far had been on Friday when she went 5 under. Finished even yesterday and is currently even through 11 holes. So I beg your pardon with the graphic. It was a little bit ahead of its time. Ended up with the par save as we go to our leader, just beyond the big white painted target in the middle of the fairway. Straight shot down at the hole to the back right, where she needs to find herself today. She goes back, she goes right, but too deep, and will find the rough. You know, with the conditions of the rough this early in the year, that'll be playable. Chun Ye-sung, look at this round in progress. A perfect 4 under after she posted her best round of the week yesterday. 1 back of the lead and one of the most informed players right now on course, and she's showing that that momentum will continue. She is a three-time winner on the LPGA Tour of Korea, 2020, 2021. A major champion at the Chris F&C KLPGA Championship. So won the IS Dongso Busan Open in 2010. She ended the season well, tied for second, the runner-up, the Hana Financial Group Singapore Women's Open. Just outside of the top 10, the PLK Pacific Links Korea Championship with SBS Golf, and was inside the top 10, just outside of the top 5 last week. She looks for win number 4. Kim Yoon-bya, she is 89 meters back from the fairway. 1.2 meters beneath the hole and plays that to near perfection. Gets it to land and stay put. The very makeable birdie. High lofted wedge just to get this up. Not much more than a foot or two beyond the fringe would have been the target, but she's not able to clear it. All of a sudden, a lengthy par save, and we might find ourselves in a four-way tie for the lead in the blink of an eye. This will no doubt be a pressure-packed 2.5 hours as she tries to hang on. Back to 12, Kim Ji-soo. Her third shot on the par 5. Another back right pin placement today. She's going to find the middle and likely have 2 putts for par. Just enough to hang on to the line. That's a tricky downhill putt, and Chan Ye-sung has another 5 birdies now on the day. She's into a share of the lead. She's further along than the other members of this top 5. But she will likely have the outright in a moment, depending on what Park Young-young is able to do from the fringe. We will head over to 10 in just a moment, but in the meantime, Kim Soo-ji. 1 over through 11. It would take quite the remarkable birdie putt from there, but she's going to need to find a little bit of a consistent barrage of miracles if she's to contend for the win. Looking at the round in progress, bogey free up to this point. Back-to-back birdies, 4 and 5. Has not had a single bogey on the back 9 all week long. In fact, 3 of her 4 bogeys this week have all been on the first hole, in the first, second, and third rounds, starting with a bogey. And despite that, able to overcome the adversity. Needs to sink this from the fringe to retain her top spot, and it was never going to go. So she'll tap in and drop back out into a tie for second position. Her first bogey of the day. She will hope it'll be her last bogey of the day. left side of the fairway, working back across. Lee Ga-young at 12. Just not able to carry enough to that right side. She's the furthest from the pin of the trio. And an opening, albeit a slight one, for Peng Min-ji. Picks up speed at the end, but it picks up speed offline. This is Ijumi to move into that logjam for a runner-up. She knows she narrowly let one slip through her fingers. Slightly misaligned to the left side. A long way back. It is a putt for birdie. Anything more than or anything less than a 2-putt par would be quite sensational. Well, not long removed from her bogey at 8. 2 birdies back-to-back early in the round at 2 and 3. Needing this par to stay in that runner-up position. Grabs the right edge. Too much pace. It goes all the way around and stays out. So she will be dropping too. Dropping as well. Only falling one spot. That's a deflating one. Kim Min-bi. It's a short one, but it's pulled. And she's about the same distance still out as she was when she addressed that birdie putt. And somehow, they never seem to take as long to set up, and they never seem to miss. Our now leader on the first par 3 of the back 9, 8-iron. The club she pulls out of the bag. The pin just off the front. Downhill and the wind at her back takes her well beyond her target. She has driven the ball very well today. She's driven the ball well in general, despite the horrible conditions yesterday that everyone had to deal with. Only missed 4 fairways. She was 89% in rounds 1 and 2. Min-ji follows suit. Looks quite satisfied with it. Kim Ji-soo looked to be online at the start of that putt. Pretty sharp and fast break just before arriving at the hole. So here's how we sit. Some volatility in our first 15 minutes on the air in this Championship Sunday. Chun Ye-sung is our leader. A remarkable 5 under through 13. Kim Min-byai, Park Young-kyung sharing P2 at the moment. A tie for 4th. Lee Ga-young, Lee Joo-mi, Pang Min-ji tied for 7th. There are several names. Kim Ji-soo, Chung Yoon-ji on page 2 of the leaderboard. Kim Shi-won, Na Hee-won are the others at 7 under par. It's going to be a tight finish all the way through to the winner for just the second time of this MEDIHEAL HANKOOKILBO Championship. We will return to Peiram after a short break. welcome back. Here's Peng Min-ji playing her approach shot at 11, going right at the pin. Right in a very makeable birdie location in that little valley between the two sections of green. Young was just shown the tutorial on how to make that approach, and she's unable to hang on to the green, once again finding herself in the rough, and will be hoping for a much better escape. The body language, unsurprisingly, telling quite the story. She's starting to have some of the struggles that have plagued Park Ji-young today, who is 4 over without a birdie through 10. Defending champion, 79 meters her approach shot. And that will be nice and tidy as well. Probably doesn't have the remaining holes or the time to defend that title, but if she's going to do it, the birdies have to begin pretty much right now. Narrowly staying wide. Formidable effort. Require the slightest of tap-ins, but the lead will not progress beyond 1 at least after 14. Good control of the speed. It's a tricky one with that hill just on the line with the pin. There's always going to be break, and it's tough enough to account for how it will start, but when you have to factor in the other side of it, well, then it just becomes algebra at that point. Park Young needs a good out. And she gets it. Wow. Okay. From near despair to reminding us all why she spent a good portion of the morning in the lead. Just about everyone had counted her out but herself. The touch, the control with the wedge. It doesn't get any better than that, ladies and gentlemen. Even before her group mates' remarkable chip in, Peng Min-ji needed to chase 2. Just wants to make sure she has her line precisely where she wants it, trying to keep pace. Birdie moves her up to double digits. Under par with Kim Min-bial. Uphill and with some late break. Back it comes online. Too much speed. There's just 8 holes to go. 2 strokes is very makeable, but she needs the leaders to slow down a little bit to give herself a fighting chance. Really testing the strength and the club selection this 12th hole. A 42-yard deep green, and the pin is all the way at the back.
플레이하겠습니다.
The deficit is 5, nearly double her current score under par. It's 2.2 meters. Also has that uphill. Also going to snap left. It's unofficially the end for Park Ji-young. As we go to the rough on the 12th hole. Kim Min-byul playing her third, the approach. Can she dig a little bit deeper into the reserves to find enough to reach hole high? Not quite. And for that reason, it is a hole that has only seen a handful of birdies today. You'll see how this featured and final group plays it. After her birdie, Park Hyung-young has the honor. Soaring through the fairway, coming to a stop. Almost exactly in the center of that fairway. Another fantastic drive. She has been at the top of her game in that department. Min-ji with the driver that she just played so well this week. Has seen a bit of an up and down type of situation, missing 4 fairways in round 1, 1 in round 2. She was near perfect, but yesterday was her best yet. 100% fairways in regulation for a very accurate driver on a good day. Jumi left confounded by that miss. Out to the back of 13, Lee Ga-young almost holding out as well. Kim Min-byul. It's a downhill putt back towards this right side of the green. Starts up and here it comes. Does it have the speed? Just about. She is outright third position. Back-to-back birdies now, but she had a bogey on the par 5 fifth, so you compare those two directly, it's certainly an improvement. 205 meters for our leader as she prepares her second. The rough killing all the speed to prevent her from moving any further forward. She's on and off the green in the blink of an eye, stopping just on that hill before the rough. Now an important par save for Ijumi to keep her in contention. Pengminji sliver inside of 300 meters as she plays her next. Takes that well with the 5-wood. Jiang. Everyone advancing as you'd expect them to on this par 5. Final to play the second. Park Young just tailing in behind of her group mates on this undulating 12th fairway. Certainly Pengminji was quite well acquainted with the top step of the podium in 2022. Another brilliant season with a handful of victories. Park Ji-young turning it on towards the end of the calendar year as well. Of course, she had the opening win of the 2022 season. Young able to reach not too far Beyond the first 10 feet of the green, she's already picked up a birdie on a par 3 today. That was back at 8. Hasn't found one at 14 yet this week, however. Approach from our co-leader once again. A bit of distance that we have not often seen today. She could have gone 1 or 2 ways after that bogey. Could have been the end of her round. Just mentally not been able to sustain it. But she was able to keep herself focused, and it just feels entirely different, doesn't it, after that improbable but nevertheless very impressive birdie that she put up at 11. Oh, that spin at the end, keeping her within about 5 meters. Played this expertly. Speaking of pin seeking, that's right up there with one of the more impressive we've seen today. Good showing for a handful of the MEDIHEAL sponsored athletes. Day on the top of that team. Time for 23rd. There's that last burst of acceleration, and you can say goodbye to it to the other side.
좋아. 안 굴러 왜?
We are officially in a race to the finish. Park Young, despite sharing the lead at the moment, she does have the benefit of a few more holes to play, so she has the ability to react to what is done above her in the table. But it is she and Chun Ye-sung who are our leaders in this final round Sunday from an overcast Payrom Club, to which we will return after a brief pause. back. Our first shot post break is Park Young and her downhill putt trying to find a birdie. Hasn't been often here on the par 5 that the regret, if there was to be one, is too much speed, too much distance. That is the case for our leader, and the near misses seem to be continuing across the course. Next up is Pungmin G. The door left slightly open by Park Young. This is on its way down, but it's another that carries too much speed.
Nice putt.
It's about the absolute best you can hope for on the approach at 13. Hole high is tough to aspire and execute to. With that pin placement back at the left, obviously, it takes a sensational shot to one-up it, which is precisely what we see on the other side of that green. Chinese song.
걸음 잠시만 멈춰주세요.
Apologies for the momentary technical difficulties, but we are back, and we are on the 13th with Peng Min-ji. Well, that is most certainly not an 8-iron, going with the driver, as you might expect, on this 323-meter par 4. She has a rare missed fairway in regulation, as that will settle just off to the right. Chan Ye-sung goes a long way back on 16. She is not quite in danger of missing out, but she's not necessarily accumulating much in terms of pad atop that leaderboard. Sol, she has not been able to do much in the way of making consistent birdies today either. She is even through 14. This is certainly an 8-iron on 14. It's played brilliantly. You're not really going to risk trying to stay just off the front on that par 3. The rough is not what you want to play with, especially in a final round, and there's Sol with another par. 6 under for the tournament, 5 off the pace, but still inside of the top 10. Next to play, the rookie Kim In-byai, 19 years of age. She's done so incredibly well this week to put herself in this position to try and contend on Sunday. She's up against some veterans who have seen just about everything this sport has to throw at them. Nowhere near where she wanted to land that. The rough having an influence after all. Jiang. She is 5 back. She has 6 holes to play. There is to be any hope. She'll need at least 4 and quite a bit of help above her. Certainly should have her first. I'm sure one of her best approach shots of the day. She too is able to crest the hill just a little bit further than pin high. And now par save. She needed to have to stay right up there in the hunt. 1 back of Park Hyung-kyung. 3 holes to play. Now Yiga Young on 15. The action coming thick and fast. That is going to reach. The time on the green, however, is not going to last very long. She's down into that rough, which has been something of a popular landing location. Another thick patch of rough. French slows it down and also just about kicks it on line. It's great up. The down should be near automatic. Has her par. 4 holes to the finish. Bungie a long way to go. Does very well not to overblow this. That fine balance dealing with the hill directly in front of her, leaving herself with about 4 feet for a par. Now Ijumi. Outside chance at a share of the lead. Just to stay online. Just breaking left. Bitter end. And she will stay at 10 under for at least 1 more hole. Young just skitters over top the right edge. Nearly was able to hit the flag. That's exactly why it stayed in. Young working her way back from the rough here at number 15. Hits the brakes, ball hit the brakes. About 8 feet past the pin. Young. That's inexcusable at this point in the competition. She doesn't need to be told it. Her chance was fleeting, and now it's just about non-existent. An agonizing miss. Pretty remarkable to think back to a year ago when she did win this event. It was 18 under par, 6-stroke victory. She's battling right now just to stay at 6 under. Obviously, the conditions haven't been quite as favorable, but it just shows you how much of a masterclass she put on. She has her 2-putt par. She's still at even today. Down to the final 5 holes. Down to the final 4 as Ijumi tees off at 15. And we'll just, and only just, stay in that deep green fairway. She does her part to stay in the lead at that 11 under mark. Now you get Young to keep herself within 2. Looks good. Solid putt. Needed that par. Stays tied for 5th. Bang Min-ji as we take a look at 14. First of the 2 short par 3s on this west course here at Peiram. 153 meters, not quite as dramatically downhill, with all kinds of sand defending the front of this green, and defending it quite well, I will add, with the pin placement today. 9 yards off the front, 5 yards from the right fringe, and you can see that little knoll about exactly where our flag is in this final round.
바람이 있으면 걱정이 맞는데 지금은 그런 거 없으니까. 근데 왠지 밑에가 좀 좋긴 해.
16-degree day today. Steady wind, 2 meters per second.
저기 안 맞아도 그냥 가운데 맞아도.
Luckily, no gusts. It's manageable. But overcast skies. Sun peaked out a little bit around noon, but otherwise all cloudy all the way through. Shame we won't be here tomorrow, and should be nothing but sunshine. Our leader's tee shot. She's pensive, not sure. Probably found the sand as she is short. Haven't seen many missed this green, we talked about it earlier, why we're seeing several players just take that extra club, get up, be safe. It's a mixture of the confidence and understanding just how tight it is at the top. You get to a point where you believe that you can birdie and take advantage of holes where others might go a little bit safe, but that is always the risk you run. Provides an opening for Bung Min-ji. That's what Park Young had been after. She'll stop on the fringe. Oh, maybe not. That's going to go right down to the rough. Those animations that we show you to preview the hole do a very good job of showing you where the break is, but until you see it, it's tough to quite understand just how dramatic those downslopes can be. She couldn't have played that much better. When you do attack short front today, you have to be on the fringe or maybe a pace on at the most. It's 166 meters out on 17 for Chun Ye-sung. Minimum expectation for her on the way in is a birdie here or 18. 18 seeming the more likely. Definitely more likely as she finds the pot bunker off to the left. But you have to think, even if Park Young goes on to bogey over at 14, she'll be able to at least pick up one or two on the way in. Still with 5 holes to play in the sand on the par 3. Her slim lead might disappear in just a few minutes here. Chun Ye-sung, Lee Joo-mi, Kim Min-byae, they remain as the closest to the top after Park Young, tied for second at 10 under. Lee Ga-young, Bung Min-ji, they are at 9 under par. This is the final round, Championship Sunday of the second MEDIHEAL HANKOOKILBO Championship. We'll step aside, take a quick reset, and be back with more from the Peiram Club. Welcome back. We do indeed find our leader in the greenside bunker. Up and down would be plenty fine from this position. That's about as dire as it could get, unfortunately. That's about 25 feet for par. Bogey seems inevitable at this point. It's good news for Chun Ye-sung, Lee Joo-mi, and Kim Min-byul. It is not good news for our leader. Speaking of Lee Joo-mi, just one back at the moment as she plays her second on 15. Will just advance through the fringe before the green. Still a lengthy uphill putt, but she is on the dance floor. Kim Min-byul also from the rough. This is her second on 15. She's on, but still a long way back. Needed to be right. Instead, she finds the left. She'll get a bit more of a return to the middle. Actually, maybe more than a bit. That's recovered by about 7 feet. Minji just a little bit deeper than hole high. Great touch. Doesn't leave herself with much at all for a par. She's still gonna need at least one more birdie on the way in. Also not going to get too ahead of ourselves here either. She still needs to make that par putt. To Chun Ye-sung on 17. An awkward stance, to put it mildly. Back knee almost completely bent, but despite that, he nearly was able to jar it. So this is the putt for par. She understands the reality. Minimize the damage has to be the plan of attack from this point. She has surprised us with some low percentage conversions already. In between the two ball markers, less than 5 feet away. She will be dropping, but that's a gotta have kind of putt next. Starting to swoop its way back in for Lee Joo-mi. She didn't want to hear that the odds were against her from that range. Minji converts on her par. Two par fours, one par three, and one par five, all that remains. Likely going to be within one. That is, unless the rookie Kim Min-byul has this 20-foot downhill putt to swap spots with Park Young-kyung. Not quite enough. Damage control was done, but she would love nothing more than another try at 14 here. Second bogey of the back nine after previously playing this part of the course oh so well. Championship conditions, the championship pin placements certainly making themselves known. Chen Yisung, one of the co-leaders now. She won't be if she can't convert on this par. Has just watched it slip away today. On pace for a 70 unless she can get a birdie back, but might just be too many missed opportunities for her on this back nine. This is 16 with Lee Ga-young. A birdie putt from off the green on the other side of the green. Rolls it within 3 feet. Looking across the course on a cloudy day, but after what we experienced yesterday, we can handle some overcast skies so long as they decide not to unleash any more moisture on this course. It's a whole lot more interesting at the top now, with 3 players sharing the lead in the home stretch. Park Min-ji would love to throw her hat or her visor to be a little more on the nose back into the ring. She had a birdie, here yesterday, bogey in round 1. This has been one of her better stretches. Stays at 3 under out of the final couple of holes for Lee Ga-young. And it is Operation Put the Bogey in the rearview mirror once again. She responded after her last bogey with a birdie. I'd love to be able to replicate that. She finds the fairway on a hole that she has already birdied twice this week. And here's how it looks from up above. It is a dogleg right with the teeing blocks propped up high above the fairway. And like we just saw a couple of examples of, the way to play your tee shots with a slight fade around the trees into that mostly forgiving fairway. 195 meters from the tee is the start of the bunker, one that is 30 meters long, and an enclave in the second cut off to the left. 3 more hazards to be mindful of with the approach shot onto the green. One in the middle of the fairway, a peanut-sized and shaped green, maybe not sized green, shaped's what we're after. Front right, the pot bunker off the back, and the pin today on this second to last par 4. It's 23 yards from the front of the green. It is 9 yards from the right, but playing very centrally. Remember, those distances, or when you were standing at the very beginning of it, can often be distorted when you're looking at that top-down view. Peng Minji goes on, off, and back on again. It's about the depth of the approach, but on the wrong side of the green. Now Park Young understanding that she has already used up her wiggle room. The margin of error is about as slim as it gets now. Just struggling with her approach game at the moment. Gone missed at the back. Now Ijumi electing for a 7-iron on 16. Certainly a putt that she can work with. And just time for a quick reset for you. It is 3 players at the top. 10 under par is the top scorer in the tournament with just a few holes remaining. Chun Ye-sung has just bumped and bobbled her way on the way in. Despite 3 under still being a very respectable score, it'll just be disheartening from where she had been earlier in the day. Park Ji-young, you see a big +4. Otherwise, if she was playing even par golf, it would be a 4-way lead at the top. Park Young is very much still in this, but off the green once again in the home stretch here. This is the final round of the MEDIHEAL HANKOOKILBO Championship. We'll step aside, get you right back in just a few minutes. It's always going to be a tricky one for Park Young, but likely still not as close as she would have wanted to be working for a par again. As we see Ju-Mi coming long and down the hill, just kicking over to the right. Only leaves herself with about 4 or 5 feet to go. Pengminji starts it right. Here it comes. It's a very impressive attempt. The impressive, however, is not going to do much for her as she pushes for a share of the lead at that 10 under par. 2 putts and no change in the score from when she had began this 15th hole. Chun Ye-sung on 18. I think it almost has to be birdie here to give herself a chance at even a playoff. She'll have a chance to do herself one last favor when she gets down to the green with about a 6-foot putt. MEDIHEAL. Coming back online, too much of that return to the right. Keeps her a couple feet away and she'll have a tap in par. It's down to 2 holes to play, still occupying a piece of the lead. 17 will be next for her, and 17 is where Lee Ga-young currently finds herself in the fairway. Generally, anytime you can roll through the shadow of the flag, you know you're close. But when it continues to move away, a little bit discouraging. Ju-Mi needs this to save a par. She does precisely that. Tee off on the 17th in about 2 minutes time, still at the top of the leaderboard. Young must make here. No room to miss, and she delivers under the pressure. Likely at the point where she's starting to envision just her 4th ever victory, but she knows we're far from done yet. Starting to feel like playoffs are destiny. And that playoff, barring some kind of monumental 4-player collapse, will not include Chun Ye-sung, unfortunately. It was her last chance. She missed a short par. 2 bogeys on the way in from an otherwise remarkable day. She's even on the way in, went out 3 under par, and will finish this tournament at 9 under. And for the final time, we will see our groups play through a par 3, this 170 meters. It is the longest, but it will likely play similar to at least the third, with just how much of a downhill drop there is to the green. really divided into two sections. Looking down from the teeing ground, and we'll split it in half. 5 meters on from the back. And the pin placement today is very much in line with the top of the bunker. 17 yards off the front of the green. Bang Minji asking for the ball to sit. Well, it sat, but unfortunately it sat way off left. Ijumi, her final par 4 of the day, off to a very good start, finding the fairway. She'll need that driver once again on 18 and maybe even beyond that in a playoff, depending on how we are able to sort this out or not. Nearly finding herself in the splash zone, Park Ji-young, but she is going to evade it by the skin of her teeth. Not quite make or break time, but it's getting awfully close. She's still in control of her fate here, but needs to start finding some birdies. And once again, she is off the green completely. Hopefully for her, there were some lessons learned the last time she played from a similar lie just about 25 minutes ago. No drama off the 17th tee, just the way she would have liked it. '16 is where we find Park Young in our featured group. One hole further down, Kim Min-biol, Lee Joo-mi playing together on 17. Really up to any of the three to find a birdie and put the pressure on the remaining two. This is very much the home stretch. The second week in a row on a Sunday in Korea. There will be a champion crowned, but certainly as tight as we've seen it yet in 2023. Stick with us. Still lots to be decided in this final round of the MEDIHEAL HANKOOKILBO Championship. Well, Park Ji-young is still in with a chance as she drops to her knees in some disbelief, some celebration, and she's propelled herself up with the birdie. This is almost certainly at the stage where it's classification at this point versus any kind of late push for a successful title defense, but she has been desperately needing that birdie for some time now, and you can see just how much of a relief it was that she finally got it. Up to 7 under, tied for 8th. Now Bang Min-ji, who has been hovering around all day. 9 under is the score she started the day with when she was tied for 2nd. She is currently sharing that score with Chun Ye-sung and Lee Ga-young, both who are either in with a 69 or on pace for one. Bang Min-ji has just not been able to turn that putter into birdies. Admittedly, she has left herself a little bit too much on several occasions to make up. She's a good putter, but she would need to be consistently making 10 to 15 footers with how she has approached the greens today. As we go to 17, Lee Ju-mi. That's a very fortuitous kick back on line. Roll to about 6 feet shy. If she can find that birdie, she will momentarily take the top spot. She had played so well in the opening rounds, 5 under and 4 under in the first 2 days, that despite going over par yesterday, she is still very much in with a chance. How does Kim Min-byul respond? She's not going to get that same kick. Just remember so many different times last season, EA1, who was then the star rookie, came so close but couldn't finish the job on Sunday. She had to learn the hard way, the heartbreak of coming close but not able to cross the finish line. You wonder if Kim Min-byul is in a similar boat, just not understanding through experience how to close out against some of the best in the country. Park Hyung-kyung can hardly bear to look as she sees that opportunity to keep herself at the top flash by her. It's just over 2 feet. Even the crowd doing their best to keep the energy high understand that it is another self-inflicted wound. She's down to the final 2 holes and has dropped out of the lead.
여기 올라갈 때는 뭘로 보여? 이렇게 올라오고. 오케이, 그럼 그것만 봐. 안 보이는 그 마크 안쪽보다 좀 더 와야 돼. 여기서 없어 거의. 그래서 마크 안쪽으로 오면 안 돼. 더 와야 돼.
Inevitably still some twists and turns in the final couple of holes, but Seems like we are on the precipice of what could be a very special day for Ijumi. We're either going to get a remarkable show of defiance from Park Young-gung to battle back. We're either going to see a rookie take the honor, or we are going to see just the third top 10, the first podium, or the first win for Ijumi in her 150th event in her career. Minji the first to tee off on her final par 4 of the day. The margin for error was small before, it is non-existent now. That's a much better start for Park Young-gung. The driving has not been the issue. It's been what's next, the approach shots. Can she give herself a simple putt, an opening? That's all she needs. Ijumi for birdie and sole possession of the top spot on the leaderboard. Yes, she's got it. Last year at Payram, she finished in a tie for 10th, the third best result of her career. She clearly has a keen interest and a proficiency of this course. Last year as well, tied for 9th, 2022 Celtering Queens Masters. Her best ever finish, 2021, tied for 5th at the Table House D Open. No athlete, no golfer's path is ever the same. Some find their success very young, a la EA1, a la perhaps Kim Min-biel today. Ijumi has done it the hard way, but she has never given up, and she has just done her best to compete and enjoy herself. So there have been many weekends where that enjoyment wavers slightly, but it's never dissuaded her from coming back out on Wednesday for the practice round and putting in the countless hours that it takes to not only reach this level, but to stay here. About a 3-foot downhill putt for the rookie to keep herself at 10 under. Has it online and will head to her 72nd hole of the weekend. It might not be her last. If we don't get any more birdies, we're headed to playoff time. It's 149 meters out. Needs to get up by 4 meters as well. Needs a little extra. And she's short again. There's either something not physically right. I don't know if she's picked up a knock or a niggle this weekend, or she just has that little bit of hesitation in the swing, because it's the 4th time just on the back 9 that we've seen her come up well short. Might this be one of the holes we look back on and think this is where it went awry? Yang trying to make sure that she doesn't suffer the similar fate. She actually has the opposite end of the spectrum, going a bit too long. Stops up on the fringe. As we go to 18. 128 meters. The approach for Lee Ga-young. Oh, and it's lovely. Artfully played. Birdie would give her 278 strokes for the event. 68 in the final round. Jumi starts this final hole as the outright leader, but nearly gets herself stuck in the rough. Luckily for her, she cleared the worst of it and is able to roll back into the fairway. Has a sly smile knowing she just about got away with one. It's down to the final couple of holes. It's very much crunch time. Lee Joo-mi, Kim Min-byul 11 and 10 under respectively. Chun Ye-sung is in at 9 under par. Lee Ga-young is setting up for a birdie to take her to 10 under. Pang Min-ji, Park Yang-kyung over at 17 and find themselves 2 back off the pace of Lee Joo-mi, trying to secure the first win in her career. This is quite the daunting proposition, not just in the sand, but almost 7 feet lower than the green. Left the last one short. Can't make that mistake again. Doesn't make that mistake again. That's a great out. MEDIHEAL is enjoying the scrap, and it is a scrap. Bungmin running out of time to find birdies. It's a tremendous putt. You can't take it away from it. She might just come up short. She's typically the queen of Sunday. Just enough. On an adventure today, a 71 that she had been on pace for, but she buries that birdie at the end. Matches her round from yesterday of a 70, sharing third at the minute. Trying to get up and down from the sand. At this point, she's just trying to stay inside the top 5. Good putt. Great putt. That was as much of a battle against the confidence and the mental side as anything else. Knowing that it just hasn't gone her way the last few holes, but she recovers very well. Jumi. Her second also comfortably into the fairway. Get Young to share second. No. Pulls it and misses left. 69 is still going to be tied for her best round of the week if she sinks this short putt. There are some out-and-out superstars who have just not been able to consistently find birdie today. I will say, shaping up to be a great result for Team NH Investment and Securities, with 3 players inside the top 10, as Ige Young is able to roll in her 279th stroke of the week. A bogey-free round, birdies 6, 8, and 11. Exits the course, heads to the clubhouse in a share of third. Doesn't jostle the order any, but when we look at the scoreboard, we're seeing more and more Fs for finished the round. And like we had done yesterday, seeing a little bit of blue skies fighting their way through the clouds. Well, about 20 minutes from now, we'll know if 72 holes will be enough, or if we'll need at least the 73rd for the first playoff of the year. It is pretty well as tight as you could wish for a Sunday afternoon on the LPGA Tour of Korea. And it's shaping up to be a first-time champion in general? Will it be the veteran or will it be the rookie superstar? Not too long, not too far away from finding out the answer to that question. Birdie from Ijumi would just about put this out of reach. And 999 times out of 1,000, she's going to do precisely that. That is a shot that is the culmination of a lengthy career. And it's just about to pay off for her. She's all but guaranteed at least the playoff. But that might have just won her this event, and you can see that it's starting to sink in. Kim Min-byul has to respond. She responds. They have gone shot for shot in this group together. In a rare instance where the champion is likely not to come from the final threesome to play. Heck of a drive that is. Leveling out and coming to rest in the middle of the fairway once again. The accuracy with which Bang Min-ji and Park Hyun-kyung have played their drivers this week has been remarkable. Two near perfect drives. And over to 18. Over to the green at 18. Jung Yoon-ji currently in a tie for 8th. Manages the uncomfortable lie that would have been well. We'll need that for a par. One more look at it. It's potentially not just a round highlight, but a career highlight. With the pressure of her group mate trading shot for shot with her, she can hardly believe it. Just savoring the moment. I'm sure there's a part of her that just wants to go on ahead, tap it in. Patiently awaits Jung Yoon-ji. #281 stroke of her week. She hopes it's the last, and it will be, narrowly. It is her highest round of the week, and that says a lot when it's even. Birdies at 5, 13, bogeys 10 and 12, pars otherwise. Kim Min-byul had just turned 19 years old on January 24th. Almost 9 years the junior of her partner today, Kim Min-byul. Her last win was the KLPGA 2023 Tour Qualifying Tournament Finals in November. And since turning pro, she has looked absolutely like she belongs. Can't quite get the birdie to go. Finished 30th in December. Oh no. You can tell she just let that concentration lapse 15 seconds ago. That was for a birdie. And what would have almost certainly been the outright runner-up. Look at it again. You can tell she just rushed through it, went through the motions. A bit on autopilot, and it was a jarring wake-up. I was gonna say that last week she finished 6th, and she would have been in contention for the win if not for a blow-up of a 77 last Saturday. It's a career best. It was nearly a win. Disappointing bogey to tarnish an otherwise near career-defining day. Her second, she finishes with a 71 in this final round at 9 under par, and now Ijumi. For her birdie and the win, unless there is a albatross behind her. What a week. What a day for Ijumi, who posts just 1 bogey at the 6th hole, 5 birdies otherwise, 12 under par. It's a career best, and it is almost certainly the first win in her career. More on that journey when it is made official, but a day, a moment, a round she will savor forever. The best birdie is a short birdie. That is a partnership, that is a duo who have battled together for as long as they can remember. Your unofficial champion of just the second MEDIHEAL HANKOOKILBO championship, from 10th last year to a 3-stroke cushion. And the only way this title is not hers is if Park Young-kyung or Bang Min-ji do not convert on their second shots. It's a pretty comfortable way to sign that scorecard. The win is mine, if not for an albatross. Well, and while we were waiting for them to finish on the 18th green, they played their second, so it is official now. We can say congratulations to our champion Ijumi as Park Ji-young plays her final approach of the day. She will be passing the torch. I honestly can't remember the last time that our winner didn't come from the featured group. It loses a little bit of the pomp and pageantry, but it just shows you, underscores how impressive of a win it was. It's 85 meters, 52 degree. Up it goes and in close. That's simultaneously a great shot and a frustrating shot, as she'll think, where was that the last 90 minutes? Something else that's pretty remarkable is unless we get a birdie from one of these two stars, it will be a 5-way tie for second. And off the flag, grazes it. Just not the requisite birdies that they needed today. At one point this year, Bang Min-ji, the 14th ranked golfer in the world, currently ranked number 2. It will be the third runner-up finish for Bak Young since the SK Network Seoul Economics Ladies Classic, tied for second in the Hana Financial Group Women's Open in Singapore. Something else that's quite remarkable from the Tangbu Construction Court Championship. Bak Young has gone in the top 15 all but once. Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. 9 of her last 10 events have been a top 15 finish. And what will be a little bit agonizing is this could be the 8th runner-up finish for her to just 3 wins. How many times she has been so close. And for Bang Min-ji, it could also be the 8th runner-up finish of her career to go along with her 16 titles. Six of them in both 2021 and 2022.
아니 강원 사랑이라고 모임 있는데 그래서 응원을 한테 받아줘야지. 어? 사진 하나만 찍을게요. 카메라 잘 있네. 고맙습니다. 축하드립니다. 좀 줘봐. 차도선이신가?
Bak Jiang for birdie, skips over the ball marker, doesn't take it offline, but it does deny the speed. And I think a little on the nose for how the day unfortunately went for last year's champion. A 75 in the final round. Only one birdie at 16, bogeys at 10, 8, 3, and 1. And it is official now. We will, of course, hear from Ijumi, see the round highlights, and the winner's ceremony on the 18th green. That's fantastic sportsmanship for Kim Min-biel, who came close but couldn't secure the win, but you know that it's just a matter of time, as it had been for EA1. Well, second is there for the taking. Peng Min-ji. She thinks she's got it. Oh, just to the inside. And some theatrics for the hundreds that currently are encircling this 18th green. Well, she too finishes at 9 under, 279 strokes, the aggregate score. And certainly not insignificant, but this putt is worth 30 million won. That's the difference from third to second. It's the casual 23,000 American dollars hovering on this putt for birdie. For outright second. It's a great finish. 71. Pretty remarkable run for her. 68, 69, 70, and 71. In a final round that saw 3 bogeys, 4 birdies. And in the end, it will go down as a 2-stroke win for Lee Joo-mi. Here it comes. Usually the water bottles are at the ready. Everyone had to run back to find them. It is a rite of passage, especially when it's her first. The champion of the 2023 MEDIHEAL 한국일보 Championship, Lee Joo-mi.
야, 이런 거 언제 느껴봐. 빨리 느껴보라고.
Can only imagine what is running through her mind right now. She has been on this tour since 2015, never on the podium, only 3 times in the top 10 prior to today. And one of them was almost 365 days exactly. She was brilliant. It is thoroughly deserved. And it is just a remarkable story of persistence and commitment to this sport. To never give up. I have to think on several occasions, as mentally strong as these athletes are, of course there are those creeping doubts. Will I ever get there? Can I do it? Am I good enough? Lee Joo-mi proved it this week. That the answer is an emphatic yes. An opening round, 5 under par, 4 under in round 2, went 1 over yesterday. Probably started with the belief, the hope, but certainly not the confidence that it would be her day, but a remarkable 4 under. And going on to win this event by 2 strokes. You always root for an underdog, you always root for those who haven't gone and taken that last progression to get their win. It's always nice to see repeat winners. It shows consistent excellence, but not quite as special. There you see Park Ji-young at +3, tied for 8th. Also +3 for Kim Shi-won today, who finishes tied for 18th with Lynn Grant after the Swedes 4 under round yesterday. She goes 1 over today to finish inside the top 20. Kwon So-yeon, the sophomore now, battled well. 2 under round to finish at 1 under for the tournament. Hong Jung-min in a tie for 24th. 3 under from over par to a very impressive finish today. In the end, 31 players under par as we will head down to the green
감사합니다.
for the championship interview.
뭔가 되게 만감이 교차하는 것 같아요. 솔직히 아직 뭔가 우승이라는 게 아직 실감이 안 돼서 솔직히 많이 울 줄 알았는데 아무 생각이 안 나네요. 네. 오늘 솔직히 저는 그냥 제가 제일 좋았던 성적인 5위 안에만 들면 좋겠다는 생각으로 임했는데 이게 중간 파3 내리막 16번 홀인가? 거기서 스코어를 봤는데 갑자기 너무 떨리는 거예요. 근데 제 캐디를 해주시는 저희 코치님이 어차피 여기서 버디 못 치면은 밀려나는 거라고 그래서 조금 더 편했던 것 같아요. 확실히 진짜 제가 좀 미스가 나더라도 뭔가 바로 피드백도 받을 수 있고 심리적으로 되게 편하게 해주시는 것 같아요. 어디요? 네. 일단 저는 부모님 확실히 부모님 얘기하려고 하니까 뭔가 울컥하네요. 프로턴 하면서부터 정말 힘든 시기를 많이 겪었는데 그래도 부모님이 많이 도와주시고 할 수 있다고 해주셔서 이 자리까지 올 수 있었던 것 같아요. 감사합니다. 울고 계실 것 같아요. 네. 저는 이번 경기를 임하면서 솔직히 첫 술에 배부를 수 있겠냐 그런 생각으로 좋은 경험을 한다 그런 마음으로 임했는데 이렇게 우승까지 하게 되니까 올해 좀 1승을 더 노려보는 것도 좋을 것 같다라는 생각이 들어요. 이거 저희 매니저님이 주셨는데 네. 네. 이번 경기로 저에게도 많은 팬분들이 생겼으면 좋겠고 앞으로도 많이 응원해 주세요. 감사합니다. 감사합니다.
Very classy to acknowledge the journey that she's been on with her caddy as well. Obviously, you saw some very proud family members watching on in the background. They weren't able to contain the emotions. Ijumi was able to reel it in. I think she's probably very much in still a state of disbelief, and it's going to take a while to sink in, but she deserves every single moment of this celebration, and it'll be a day that she remembers for a very long time. As we wait for the 18th green to be ready for the winner's presentation, we'll go through the round highlights. Pungmin Ji on 2 was able to move up to 10 under. At that point, she took the outright lead. And from there, she was showing no signs of slowing down. That is a brilliant tee shot on the tough to manage 158-meter par 3. And back-to-back birdies early in the round, and she was comfortably ahead. Park Ji-young, meanwhile, no such luck. The putter had gone ice cold on her at the worst possible time. That was the beginning of a long day with plenty of bogeys. On to 4 with Park Ji-young playing her approach shot from the rough. A lovely up and just running down the channel in the middle of this green, and then there it goes on line, just a few centimeters away from an eagle, which would have vaulted her into a share of the lead. The type of hole that would often come with a ton of confidence to match it. Chun Ye-sung, this was her approach at 8. Lands at about 8 feet shy of the pin, and from there made no mistake on a birdie that would move her into a share of 3rd position. Back to 5 now. 108 meters out from the rough. Park Ji-young up, bordering down the right side of this green, and again tailing it in. And at that point, with the shot making, you're thinking, okay, well, it's going to be Peng Min-ji or it's going to be Park Ji-young, because nobody was seemingly able to keep up with them. Sharing the lead after 5 holes at 11 under par. 7 would be next, Kim Min-byul. On this par 4, a very impressive birdie to move her within 2. It would be next, and jarring it from the rough, Lee Ga-young. Up to 8th, she would go at 8 under. Chun Ye-sung trying to carry that momentum with her into the back 9. Started with her 4th birdie at that point in the day, within 1 stroke of the lead. Kim Min-byul not to be outdone. I can do that too, she says. The rookie was on the prowl. On to 11, and this after a bogey the hole prior. Park Ji-young also a similar finish to Lee Ga-young. Then on to 13. And the control from a very difficult pin placement. And set up a birdie. 14 would be next. Still the leader at this point was Park Ji-young at 14. But unfortunately for her, after missing into the sand, blasting it out to the other side of the green, she was not able to save her par, so it was 2 players at the top. Just not for very long. Birdie from Lee Joo-mi on 17, and then this, well, the shot of the day. And probably the shot of her career thus far. She wouldn't need the birdie. It's just a nice exclamation point on a great round. And then unofficially, just 3 feet to move up to 12 under par. 67, 68, 73, 68. And a 2-stroke victory for Lee Joo-mi. It was a logjam, tied for 2nd. And Park Ji-young, despite not getting her win, she does get the 8th second place finish of her career, finishing with an impressive 18th hole. And then, with everyone through their rounds, the celebrations could officially commence, and the celebrations are on as we go down to number 18 now for the winners' presentations.
여러분들 다시 한번 뜨거운 박수 부탁드립니다. 네, 축하드립니다. 네, 이어서 코스 레코드 시상이 있겠습니다. 이번 메딜 한국일보 챔피언십 대회가 열린 패럼 클럽의 동서 코스는 지난 2015년 이수그룹 제37회 KLPGA 챔피언십의 2라운드 이민영 투 프로가 코스 레코드를 기록했습니다. 그 기록이 무려 8언더 64타인데요. 이번 대회에서는 새로운 기록이 나오지 않았습니다. 아쉽게도 대회 첫날 김민별 선수가 8언더 64타로 코스 레코드 타이 기록을 세웠으나 기록 갱신까지는 못해서 수상을 하지 못하게 되었습니다. 다음 대회에서는 프로들의 화려한 플레이와 함께 이 기록이 꼭 갱신되기를 바랍니다. 이어서 홀인원 시상이 있겠습니다. 이번 대회 홀인원은 총 4군데에 무려 5개의 상품이 걸려 있었는데요. 3번 홀에 프레드릭 콘스탄트 시계의 매뉴팩처 트루비용, 8번 홀에 신동아골프의 1.3캐럿 다이아몬드, 14번 홀에 콜롬보의 오데온과 휴테크의 카이 GTS 아트 모션, 그리고 마지막 16번 홀에는 더클래스 효성 더 EQA 차량이 준비되어 있었습니다. 하지만 아쉽게도 이번 대회에서는 홀인원의 행운을 가져간 선수가 나오지 않았습니다. 화려한 경품 리스트들이 있었기 때문에 더욱 아쉽게 느껴지는데요. 앞으로 더욱 멋진 플레이로 홀인원을 맞이하는 주인공이 더욱 많아지기를 바라겠습니다. 네, 그럼 이어서 제대로 시상을 해보도록 하겠습니다. 아마추어 1위에 대한 시상입니다. 아마추어 1위는 대회에 참가한 아마추어 중 가장 좋은 성적을 낸 선수에게 전달하는 상인데요. KLPGA의 김순미 수석 부회장님께서 시상에 도와주시겠습니다. 네, 메디힐 한국일보 챔피언십 아마추어 1위를 기록한 선수는 김민솔 선수입니다. 여러분들 축하의 박수 부탁드립니다. 네, 아마추어 1위를 기록한 김민솔 선수에게 축하의 꽃다발을 수여하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 이어서 기념 촬영도 진행하니까요. 네, 앞쪽에 있는 카메라를 의시하시고 환한 미소 부탁드립니다. 네, 한국 골프의 밝은 미래를 보여준 김민솔 선수에게 다시 한번 큰 박수 부탁드립니다. 네, 많이 기다리셨죠? 드디어 오늘의 주인공 우승자 시상을 진행하겠습니다. 메디힐 한국일보 챔피언십 영예의 주인공은 4라운드 토탈 12언더 276타를 기록한 이주미 프로입니다. 축하합니다. 여러분들 뜨거운 박수 부탁드립니다. 네, 장내에 계신 모든 분들은 뜨거운 박수로 우승자 이주미 프로를 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다. 네, 진심으로 축하드리고요. 그럼 시상 이어가도록 하겠습니다. 메디힐 한국일보 챔피언십 우승자에게는 우승 상금 1억 8천만 원과 더불어 우승 자켓과 우승 트로피가 수여되며 부상으로 해리슨 테일러 고급 정장 교환권과 클린트 주얼리 세트 그리고 휴테크 안마 의자가 수여되겠습니다. 먼저 메디힐의 권혁재 부사장님께서 우승 자켓을 수여해 주시겠습니다. 권혁재 부사장님께서는 앞으로 자리해 주셨고요. 네, 여러분들 큰 박수로 맞이해 주시면 감사하겠습니다. 너무 축하드립니다. 그리고 이어서 우승 트로피를 전달해 주시겠습니다. 그리고 함께 사진 촬영 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 너무 멋진 순간입니다. 네, 진심으로 축하드리고요. 그럼 이어서 한국일보의 이성철 사장님께서 우승 상금과 부상을 시상해 주시겠습니다. 먼저 우승 상금을 전달해 주시겠습니다. 네, 축하드립니다. 사진 촬영 진행하도록 하겠고요. 네, 계속해서 우승 부상 시상이 있겠습니다. 우승 부상으로는 해리슨 테일러 고급 정장 교환권과 클린트 주얼리 세트 그리고 휴테크의 GTS9 안마 의자가 제공됩니다. 먼저 해리슨 테일러 고급 정장 교환권 시상이 있는데요. 네, 한국일보 이성철 사장님께서 전달해주고 계십니다. 네, 진심으로 축하드리고요. 또 앞쪽에 있는 카메라를 의시해서 기념 촬영 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 축하드립니다. 여러분들 계속해서 뜨거운 박수 부탁드립니다. 네, 다음으로는 클린트 주얼리 세트 시상이 있겠습니다. 마찬가지로 한국일보 이성철 사장님께서 전달해 주시겠습니다. 네, 주얼리 시상에 전달을 하고 있는 모습 있고요. 네, 시상 보드까지 전달을 마치면 네, 기념 촬영까지 함께 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 네, 진심으로 축하드립니다. 여러분들 박수 부탁드립니다. 네. 메디힐 한국일보 챔피언십은 우승자 구상이 너무너무 풍부한 것 같습니다. 다음으로 휴테크 GTS9 안마 의자 시상이 진행되겠는데요. 한국일보 이성철 사장님께서 계속해서 시상에 도움을 주시겠습니다. 네, 축하드립니다. 네, 사진 촬영 이어서 하도록 하겠고요. 여러분 끝까지 뜨거운 박수 부탁드립니다. 네. 네, 축하드립니다. 그럼 마지막으로 KLPGA 김순미 수석 부회장님께서 축하의 꽃다발을 전달해 주시겠습니다. 아, 너무 축하드립니다. 네. 네, 진심으로 축하드립니다. 시상에 수고해 주신 네 분.
Well, an ear-to-ear smile that will certainly be going nowhere for quite some time. She deserves every moment of it. That check for 180 million won is certainly going to keep the smile on her face. That's about 136,000 US, 124,000 euro, or 109,000 British pounds. That's quite the week of work for Ijumi, and a nice snazzy blue blazer to go along with it, new bracelet, massage chair. Hey, it's all turning up Ijumi, and it's absolutely lovely to see someone who has committed so much of her life to this sport to finally get her reward at 28 years old. Finally a champion on the LPGA Tour of Korea with a remarkable final round of 68 to win by 2 strokes. Also, Kim Min-seol honored for being the only amateur to make the cut, and by virtue of that being the top amateur on the course this week. That is going to be it for us for this second event of 2023. Next week, we are headed to Kimei-shi at Gaia Country Club for the Nexen Saint 9 Masters 2023. Only a 3-round tournament next week, so that means we will speak to you on Friday as we run it back once again, and we are off to a start for new champions. EA won last week, Ijumi this week. Who will prevail as we begin on Friday? It's been an absolute blast to have you along with us, as it always is. We truly appreciate your viewership. You are the reason why these events are broadcast to you from wherever in the world you join us from. We thank you for tuning in and supporting the LPGA Tour of Korea. On behalf of our SBS Golf and Spa crews, I've been Adam Jenkins saying so long from my studio in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and we look forward to welcoming you back on Friday. Congratulations to Ijumi, the first win in her career.